What's good, math family? In today's video, we're focusing on two problems and how to properly complete the square when we have lead coefficients. Let's get started. When we use completing the square, math family, we always have to have a lead coefficient of 1. So yes, we have to rearrange this equation, right? We add 20 on both sides. So we have 5x squared plus 20x is equal to 60. Now, in most completing the square problems, all three of these terms are not going to be divisible by the same number. This one, we're lucky. We could divide everything by 5. So we'll have x squared plus 4x is equal to 12. Now that we have that lead coefficient of 1, we can now complete the square. So what are we going to do? Create our perfect square trinomial. So half of 4 is 2. 2 squared is going to give me 4. So I have x squared plus 4x plus 4 is equal to 12 plus 4. Now I'm going to simplify this back down to its binomial. So we have x plus 2 squared, and that is equal to 16. All right, so now we want to solve for x. We have an exponent, so we use the square root method, right? Meaning, I'm going to take the square root of this side, take the square root of the other side. Exponent and square root cancels out, so we're left with x plus 2, and that is equal to plus or minus the square root of 16, which is 4. Now for us to finish this problem off, we get x by itself, and it's equal to negative 2 plus or minus 4. So now equation 1, x is equal to negative 2 plus 4. We know x is equal to positive 2. And when we split our second equation, x is equal to negative 2 minus 4, we know x is equal to negative 6. So this is how we would solve this problem by completing the square. Now, problem number 2 is way different because we can't divide all three of those terms by 4, right? Exactly. So what we want to do is to add 5 on both sides, right? So we have 4x squared plus 8x is equal to positive 5. Now with this step, lead coefficient still isn't 1, so I'm going to pull out 4. So now we have x squared plus 2x is equal to 5. Now, family, we're going to create our perfect square trinomial because our lead coefficient is now 1. So when we look at our middle term, half of 2 is 1, 1 squared is 1. So we have 4 times x squared plus 2x plus 1 is equal to 5. Now, I didn't fill in this other side because most students are going to put 1. And if you put 1 in, unfortunately, it's wrong. Why? Because you have to take into account that we're going to distribute this 4. So yes, we added 1 here, but when we multiply, it's actually a 4 that we added. So this is what we need to add to both sides, right? So we break this down to its binomial. 4 times x plus 1 squared is equal to 9. Now let's just take a quick pause right here, family. If we wanted to put this into vertex form, all we need to do is subtract 9. So if we wanted this in vertex form, we would have 4 times x plus 1 squared minus 9, right? You would have your y or f of x in front, right? This would be 0. I just put it in front if anyone's asking. So now what does this mean? This means if we were graphing this, my vertex would be -1, -9, right? Meaning I would shift this graph from 0, 0, left 1, down 9. All this 4 does is instead of the graph being like a perfect U, it's going to start compressing closer like a V. So if you're going from standard form to vertex form, this would be our answer right here. Now that we got that done, let's go back and just finish solving this problem, okay? So let's erase this real quick. All right, so now at this step, what are we going to do? This is not by itself. So we're going to divide by 4. Divide by 4. Now we have x plus 1 squared is equal to what? 9 over 4. So now we're going to do the square root method. And yes, we're doing the square root method with fractions. Yes, we are. So now we have x plus 1 is equal to plus or minus the square root of 9 over 4. So we're going to take a pause right here and let's get some more space. All right, so let's erase this first problem. All right, so now from here, let's take this up here. So we simplify, we have x plus 1 is equal to plus or minus 3 over 2, right? Subtract 1, x is equal to negative 1 plus or minus 3 over 2. Now, family, understand at this step, let me just make sure I get everything I need. All right, now at this step, let's change this to a fraction, right? So x is equal to what? Negative 2 over 2. That's the same thing as 1, same denominator. Plus or minus 3 over 2. Right? So now first equation, x is equal to negative 2 over 2. Let's do minus first. Minus 3 over 2. All we're focusing on is the numerators. So guess what? X is equal to what? Negative 5 over 2. This is our first answer. All right? Second one, x is equal to negative 2 over 2 plus 3 over 2. Once we simplify, we know x is equal to positive 1/2. So when we're talking about completing the square with lead coefficients, family, this is how you would do it. And you could use this example as well to go from standard form to the vertex form, which I showed you earlier in this video. Really hope that this was a helpful video for you guys. If it was, smash the like button for us, subscribe to the channel, and leave comments down below if this video was helpful or if there's future topics you'd like for us to cover. Thank you guys so much for joining us today on Algebra 1 with Mr. Peters.